Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Shadow Hearts Covenant. Last time we learned a little bit about the history of Albert Simon from the previous game. And now we're in Yuri's soul, with only ourselves and Karen. And as I said in the previous episode, we no longer have access to the graveyard. I'm guessing because we're in the graveyard? Not exactly sure why. Anyway, use a couple extra Thera leaves there to heal Yuri up after being destroyed by enemies in this area. You surrounded the enemy. Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Hello there. It's a combo up on Karen. And I missed. Good way to start the episode. Well, paralyzed. Now, because the enemies are all stuck together like that, we can simply fuse if we want to, and finish the enemies off in one go. All we would need to do is do a little magma, finish the enemies off, and they're done with. I'm going to use this opportunity to keep building up my combo and my affinity between the two characters. But these guys can use Upring. I guess that's another good reason to actually let the enemies attack so that we can find out what they do. This! I disagree, video game. I disagree. Yeah, these guys have pretty high physical evasion. I'm guessing they have something of a similar status to Yuri, or not Yuri, Joachim when he is in invisible form, and you can't always hit them, so magic is your friend in this area. Okay, I think we're going to magic these guys because they're being a pain in the ass. Well, there's Upring, that sucks. Sword, arts, I can hit them both. Can I do it with Upring on? I perfect it. Well, one way of doing things.
Keep your eyes where they belong.
Now, when you looked on the enemy sprites, it looked like they were taking like 70-some damage, but there was a second hit in there that is hard to see. And if you notice, they list out the total damage, which was about 120 for each of them total. So just so you kind of know, it's Art Cure up this time. And let's keep going. So yeah, preferably use magic against those guys, but if you want to try building up affinity, I guess you can do that too. Well, we couldn't do anything, and all we have left to do is look at mirrors. Need a key to go any further, so I guess we'll look at this mirror, and something funny about this mirror. Gotta expect things to be kind of screwed up. Look out, here they come. What do you mean? I'm confused. Who comes? What now? I am fighting me. Now look at the turn order priority at the top of the screen. Confusing as all hell. You have no idea who is going when and where and why. So let's try and finish some of these guys off here. Karen and Yuri are reasonably powerful. They've got a lot more HP than the other ones, and they do a decent amount of damage. They will also combo. And they have all of the combo maneuvers together. So their attacks use all 5 hits in Yuri's case, or all 4 in Karen's case. Let's finish off you. I don't believe they can heal or anything like that. You could fuse with Yuri if you want to. In fact, if I had fused, then I probably could have killed him with one more attack from Karen. But yeah, now you can see what Yuri's attack animation would be if I was actually using all of all of the hits instead of only, you know, one of the hits. I missed. Too late. Alright. Die, please. Thank you.
That was a pretty good warm-up.
Unfortunately, the fights aren't particularly valuable to do because, yeah. And you have to do it in order to proceed. That was weird. Okay. What just happened? The reflection in the mirror is the darkness of your own heart, your shadow self. Envies your living flesh. Hello, you're only on one side of the mirror. Mirror path is a single ray of light. There's no turning back. Once we're done with the cutscene, I'll show you the map. If you look at the arrow indicators, it will tell you which way you can go on which mirror. Also give you a nice map of this area. Path opens up will be one way. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Let me do something to help you. He is a free healing point in here, which is much appreciated. To get back, you must break Amon's seal. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Amon. Maybe just because I'm trying to enunciate more? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Continues to prove how strange I am. And now, if you look at the mini-map there, we are actually up in the right side of the thing now, and we have access to a save point if we so desire to use it. Also, you can see by there are only 2 items in this entire area. One of them is up here. It's the only one that isn't required, and it's not a bad item. So let's grab a third key. One thing you may want to look into is using that third key to cheese your way through an upcoming boss fight, but that's up to you. Oh, we don't get to go right away. Let us do the fusion dance. Get that combo together. Use this. There we go, we get 2 of them that way. I missed. And then we will have Karen go for... That should finish him off. Yeah, freely use your MP in here, whether they're skills or magic or whatever they are. Just because it'll make your life a little bit easier. Let's go for the blaze. I hit that way too soon. The problem with hitting it too soon and not killing the enemy is, well, now I have to actually attack the enemy with another magic spell. Or I could miss. That works too. Let us go and switch over to you and see what your elemental spell looks like, since I don't think I've used that yet. It looks pretty cool. To be honest, I haven't even seen all of them because I haven't used all the fusions. There wasn't really a whole lot of reason to do so in my test run after I found a lot of setups that work and had access to guys that could tell me, oh, these are all the skills that the other fusions have, and none of them look particularly interesting. Alright, so we have access to both sides. If you notice the map there, the left side will take us on a loop, but we don't want to take a loop. We need to get all the way to the bottom first, so let's go this way. Normal doors. are not all, most of them aren't one way. I think there is one at some point, or I could be thinking of something later in the game. I cannot recall. More of the same. There's only those 3 items, the 2 invisible ones and the, first one that we saw. Here we get the glass key. As you can see, we've already been in pretty much every room in this dungeon, so the fastest way back is to take the first mirror that we see. Both of, well, we haven't seen the other one. It was down the other path. So yeah, there you go, or some of the things you'll try and get for perfect ring victories and killing the enemy on one turn, especially if you get them all cornered together right off the bat. And the enemy has surrounded me. Great. Karen is going to beat the ever-loving crap out of Karen. And Yuri is going to combo on her. Okay. We're going to combo ourselves. And Karen. Let's go for that one first. Yeah, fighting our doppelgangers isn't a lot of fun. They do quite a bit of damage. Now, too bad I don't have access to the graveyard, so I could show off some other abilities, but I guess we're going to go for Magma. That's fine. Yeah, much easier to get rid of them if you're using spells. How you decide to deal with the enemies is up to you. Every time we go through the door or the mirrors there, we end up on the other side of the area. And now we can just make our way all the way back. Alright. Yeah, I'm just spamming spells at this point, just because it's... whatever. I have a save point up there. The thing is, if you go through there, you can talk to Jovis again and get your free healing. But then I'd have to run around again anyway, so I'm just going to go this way. And then I'm just going to use a tent up here. And hopefully I don't find another battle on the way, because I really need to heal and I'm too lazy to do it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, definitely needed to heal. Tent. We're tented up. Gonna save. Okay, we're back. I modified my equipment slightly, not too much. Face guard on Yuri, and that was pretty much it. Alternatively, you can throw on spikes onto both of them and start off upcoming with Storm and use Stand. But I don't believe you have to worry about status effects, I think. Well, that looks like a demon summoning circle. Well, we are summoning a demon, so I guess that makes sense. Hello? How are you?
Soon now.
Yeah.
You've been here before, Yuri. Time to face your own demons.
He's always been this scary?
Come on, don't be such a wimp.
Yuri, you're facing your own demons. In your case, it happens to be more literal than with most. We will see some familiar abilities here. Now, you can take this fight a few different ways depending on how you want to deal with it. I recommend Arc Barrier first and foremost. Because Amon is not a weakling. Speaking of which, 765 HP. He does exactly what you think he does from the previous game. He uses Demon Rays and a normal attack, and well, we'll see the other one before too long. He's immune to pretty much everything else. Fusion Yuri. I would recommend nothing other than Barbaria for this fight, but that's entirely up to you. We're going to start with Rage. Now we're going to go for the energy charge. The lucky thing about these single targeting buffs is they have relatively low, impact on him getting his next turn. So they have low recovery time or high recovery time, low recovery time. Either way, they're very, very good in letting you get your next turn really quickly. And I missed. Of course I did. Alright, next we're going to go for Arc Shield. Yeah, that's his other ability. The end. Well, we're a little more protected against it now. We do want to energy charge you up. There are other ways about going about this fight if you want to, but I would highly recommend doing it this way. And the next thing we can do, you can do things a different way. You can use Entrance on Yuri and have him be a magic DPS attacker as opposed to a physical attacker if you want. I'm going to throw Gale. I don't want to do that. The thing with Gale is, unlike all of the other buffs, it has a really, really high recovery time. So you see, she's not going to get another turn until both Yuri and Amon have each gone twice. If I was to target her with it, she would basically just keep up, and she wouldn't get any benefit of it that she wasn't already getting. So you can see it's not necessarily the best thing to cast, but it's an option if you want to go for it. Amon is non-elemental. I'm going to go for the art here. Actually, you know what? The reason why I recommended buying the Theraces was primarily for this fight. I prefer them over the Cure spell. I don't know if they have a higher recovery time or like a faster recovery time. I think I'll go with that way of saying it instead. But they seem to heal more than the Cure spell, and I just would prefer using them. And we have him down over half. Basically, Karen is here to heal up. And if you want, you could attack with her. There's no special bonus for getting a hit combo, so don't worry about that. But basically, Yuri can do this whole fight by himself and then just have Karen dish out healing and anything else. But yeah, without barrier and shield, he's going to do a lot of damage. Karen's going to have to heal pretty much every round. But yeah, I guess you don't need to do it if you don't want to, because her art cure will be able to keep up. But if you buff up, then he falls down pretty quickly. If you don't buff up, this is a rather long and challenging fight. This is not how I took on the fight in my test run, and so I wanted to show off an alternative because the fight in my test run was actually more on the difficult side. And what I'm using this to test out because I forgot to write down the brigand earrings. I left them equipped on somebody else, that they weren't in the party, and it did not affect the amount of money that I got for this fight, so it has to be somebody in your active party. I had forgotten to test that out when we got it earlier, and somehow I forgot to write it down. I don't know why I didn't do that. Got a feeling, do ya?
Albert.
I never thought I'd see you again.
Yeah.
Nice place, isn't it? It's so very quiet and serene. A place of pure peace. It's quite beautiful. It's your home within you. It is, in fact, your true home.
My home?
Yes. I live in a small corner of your memory, one that you've nearly forgotten. So tell me, are you still fighting these days, young man?
I guess so.
It was Rasputin that I was actually after. He was my true enemy.
Retcon.
Huh.
It is ironic that you, my former foe, should now be the one fighting him.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Imagine me following in your footsteps. But the way I am now, I don't think I can win.
For Asmodeus, who spreads hate and malice among men, there is no greater joy than to see mankind slaughter each other. Order will be broken apart, and chaos set in its place. That is the future that Rasputin seeks, my friend.
That's what you were trying to prevent him from doing. And it's my fault he's made it this far, is that right?
It's true. But don't be discouraged. You defeated me and managed to expel a god. You may still be able to change the future if you can harness Amon's power.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But is this future I can create going to be a good one?
So are you questioning the worthiness of your struggle?
Well, the thing is, I'm sure you'd have a better chance than I would.
You're wrong. Only you can do it, Yuri. That's what I think. Those who would wield power must also accept power's responsibility. If you see a tragedy in the making, my friend, it is your responsibility to try and stop it. There is no mistake in that.
Albert.
Well, it's time for you to leave.
Well, I'm glad we got the chance to talk.
Yuri, may I ask you one thing?
What?
Where is this? I think it must be Japan.
It's Katsuragi. It's called the Forest of Wind.
Thank you.
And that was the scene that pissed me off so much in my first playthrough of this game, way back when I was a kid. They retconned the absolute fuck out of the previous game. Now, as a more kind of well-tuned observer and player of video games and anime and, you know, seeing more stories and kind of reading it a little better, I don't hate it as much as I used to. but at the same time, they've most certainly retconned this out. Now, there was a little bit of kind of an appreciation, a respect for one another as adversaries in the previous game. That happened during the final battle. We defeated, not Amon, but we defeated Albert Simon and his newer fusion, whatever the hell that was. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we defeated them, and then he, meaning Albert Simon, used the last of his power to send us to outer space to fight the final boss, which was the god that he had summoned. So there was a little bit of kind of back and forth between them, and they had that little bit of respect for each other. However, Albert Simon's the one who killed Yuri's girlfriend's father. Alice's father was killed at the very start of the first game. They never really talk about this. They just like, oh, by the way, retcon in this game, Albert Simon was a good guy all along, just went about it the wrong way. He was still an asshole in the previous game. He was still evil in the first game. And I've seen this more times than I really wish I had, in the fact that video games, for some reason, like to write in redemption storyline arcs for villains, and decent villains at that, in subsequent games in the series. It happens here. It happens in Xenosaga. I'll say nothing else. But it happens far too often for my tastes. And it's just a real big annoyance that I had with this game growing up. And it was why I wasn't able to enjoy this game as much as I was hoping that I would have been able to after playing the first game for the first time and playing this game as well for the first time. Now, when it came to doing the test run for this, it didn't bother me as much. But at the same time, there were other issues with the plot that bothered me even more. And it's not necessarily like the overarching plot, it's more the character development. It's something I touched on in the previous episode after the cutscene where Karen made that overarching commitment to help Yuri, even at the potential cost of her own life. It's this romantic relationship that the game's telling us is developing without showing us how it's developed. The lack of character development that we've seen for a number of the characters that we've picked up so far. We picked up Joachim. He's a nitwit. That's his defining characteristic, and he's about as flat as a piece of paper as far as character development. Even in the previous game, when we got Joachim's brother Keith, he didn't have much to offer to the plot after he joined and we finished his opening quest, but there was more characterization in that start, in that quest that gave us more to lean on in terms of how Keith was to be portrayed. Joachim is a lot more fun than Keith was. Keith was a rather boring character, but Joachim's comes from his personality. Even though he doesn't have any big evolving feature, doesn't seem to change all that much, he's just the way he is. And so Joachim's all right. Lucia, I already said it. We have pretty much all her characterization throughout the game. She adds nothing to the rest of the plot. Blanca is a wolf and adds pretty much nothing to the rest of the plot. Geppetto, we already had his storyline. It's done. He adds pretty much nothing to the rest of the plot. Anastasia, we're in the middle of her quest. She still has some more to offer. And as far as the rest of the game goes, she gets more characterization than almost every other character. Which is kind of an odd choice to make. But anyway.
I see. So Japan has accepted our conditions.
Yes, Master.
You have done well. I'm very pleased I entrusted the matter to you, my friend.
Thank you, Master.
Russia is losing this war because lack of food and arms have devastated the morale of our frontline troops. We have the money, but unfortunately we do not have the supplies.
I know. But soon now, Japan is going to begin a major offensive against the German Empire.
Yesterday's enemy is today's friend, eh? Ishimura is no fool. Has that special envoy left Petrograd yet?
No, Master. In fact, we have requested his presence at the banquet.
Very well. Now, what do you know about America?
They're still officially maintaining their neutrality, but it's only a matter of time before they enter the war.
How can you be so sure?
England and France are both exhausted. The only reason America has not yet entered the war is that they needed a proper pretense.
And now they have such a pretense, Nikolai?
Next week, a ship named the Lusitania is leaving New York bound for Liverpool. There's a rumor going around that it will be carrying a huge shipment of munitions.
The German submariners will be forced to sink it, isn't that so?
It will be England's sacrificial lamb.
Clever. By the way, Nikolai,
Sir?
is it true that Lenny was killed on St. Marguerite?
Yes, Master.
I don't understand why you didn't stay and fight.
I thought Lenny could handle matters himself.
I see. But you knew how powerful he was, right? But still you sent Lenny alone to do battle with him.
Yes.
Well, I'm off to the celebration. I'm certain he'll show up again. Next time, Nikolai, you'll know what to do.
Yes, Master.
Very well. You may leave.
I'm very character driven when it comes to video games. I'm much more interested with what they talked about there between the two of
So
them
here you are.
How's the bishop?
than I am the political
sleeping.
intrigue.
The old guy may never wake up.
Don't say things like that. What a pretty sunset.
I guess.
Are you feeling guilty?
Look at all of them. Everyone praying as hard as they can so the bishop will be all right.
He's an important man.
If I hadn't come here, this valley would still be a nice, peaceful place.
But then we couldn't save Russia. Think of Anastasia's family. It's your own mother's homeland.
These guys deserve to be saved too.
You're right. Everyone wants the same thing. To be just a little happier than they are now. Nothing big. Just food, shelter, and time to laugh and cry with the people they love. That's enough to make them happy.
Happy? What does that even mean?
Okay. If they had done our nice romantic scene out here before we went into Yuri's soul, before the idea of Karen volunteering went in there, that would have been enough of a pretense for that whole situation to make a hell of a lot more sense. But they decided to do it afterward, and instead of leaning on the romantic side of things, they're basically just spouting a little bit of exposition, and for whatever reason they didn't show us the guy getting hurt after the whole sequence. I'm not sure why they did that, but Yuri seems to be having kind of some issues with guilt and maybe even some depression here. Uh-huh. What about the bishop? Alright, so he seems to be okay. Anyway, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Next time, I probably won't bitch about the games quite so much, and we can have fun actually playing it. Now, here's the thing. I still love the game, whether I have problems with it or not. This was something that I did a lot with the Xenosaga series as well, is I bitched the crap out of the game because I have really high expectations coming from the first game in both franchises. And to see a sequel do something in terms of character development or lack of character development and have it not live up to the first game is very frustrating for me, because I want to see that storyline continue and it continue to be interesting. Again, I've mentioned it before, the gameplay is hand over foot way better in the second game. It's more interesting, it's more dynamic, there's more to think about. Everything is just more fun to play, but the characters are a little bit on the weaker side and don't get as much characterization. Just look at the first game and how much characterization we got between Yuri and Zhuzhang, and how much, or Zhuzhen, Zhuzhen, I think Zhuzhang was his last name. And then how much characterization we got for Margaret over the course of the entire game, and how much personality and how long we spent working on Haley's character in that game. There was a lot of character development that went on in that game that is kind of lacking this time around. But we're not done with the game yet. We're not even at the halfway point. This is a 2-disc game. We're not even off disc 1 yet. So anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.